and Grit Show. Yeah, on the Wit and Grit Show with Alka.
Hello, greetings of peace, love, and happiness, everyone. Yay, we are back on the iconic Wit and Grit Show, episode 41, season 2, with a beautiful personality all the way from the USA. You know that the Wit and the Grit Show, which is organized, powered by Chilparco International, Alka Home of Education, Alka Home of Tarot, is a show that talks about the unique, unstoppable journey of people who had this one value and one principle in life that they never gave up. They had this never say die attitude, and they created a special niche for themselves and are super successful in whatever they're doing, following their passion, carving a niche for themselves, and a beautiful life they've made for themselves for others to emulate. And so they are here to discuss their uniqueness with us, their tenacity with us, and the fact that they are definitely witty and gritty. Well, we have on the show with us, all the way from the US, a very wonderful friend of mine, Professor Rosalind Can from the United States of America. Now, when I start talking about the numerous hats that she wears, like she's an author, she's a writer, she's a public speaker, she's a coach, she's a TEDx speaker, she's a media personality. She has her own show running. She's an associate producer of Living Your Best Life. Isn't that wow? And so many more things she does, and she's a traveler. She's a humanitarian, and she believes in women power. A big welcome, Professor. How are you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. I'm awesome. I'm on top of the world.
Oh, fantastic. That's great to hear. Great to hear.
Yeah. Okay. So, Professor, tell us, the journey of your life. How has it been up till now? I'm sure it's been a beautiful journey, and you are a beautiful human being. But if you could briefly tell us, how has the journey of life been for you?
Well, the journey of life, an interesting story. I was one of 7 kids, and the most interesting thing was when I was about 13, they realized I had scoliosis. And so they tried to treat it. And by the time I was 15, I was put in a body cast. And I've told that story so many times, but it was one of those periods where you turn inside and you say, why me? Why is this going on and happening? But it inspired me to write. And I think it's those writing skills that I had at that young age that's really inspired me to this point today where I still continue to write from here. So, I worried at that time, well, who was I going to go to the prom with? What was going to happen? My mom said, oh, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I had a friend that I went to the prom, and then it was, where am I going to go to school? My mom said, oh, you can just go to school here. You can go to a junior college. You don't need to go away. And I got to go to UC Santa Barbara, and
Wow.
it was a beautiful school. I graduated in 3 years and a quarter. And as I was in my last semester, the bumps of life go ahead and rear its head. My father had a major heart attack. And I remember being devastated and carrying a tape recorder so I could focus and concentrate. And when graduation rolled around, there he was in the audience, and he was cheering me on. And that was amazing. From that point, I went and I traveled in a group called Up With People that was promoting peace and culture all around the world, a really enormous, fantastic experience. And when the year ended, I had 3 possibilities. I could do PR for a hospital in Tennessee. I could
Mhm.
work for Tetra Pak. Um, and there was one other company, but what did I do? You go back
What
to
did
the
you
safe
do?
comfort of home where you know. And I had an experience there where I worked for what was the equivalent of Costco, and I used that experience to launch me into a field of advertising. I moved to LA and transferred, and I was changing clothes in my car and going from one place to another. And, you know, it's just holding on to that dream. I worked in some advertising agencies, and one lady got fired, and she said it was me who was going to get ahead and get fired, and it was actually her. And
Okay.
I increased my typing skills because when you're in the world of advertising, you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
it's just I had an experience there where I got into Spanish language radio because I thought that was the possibility. And
Oh, so you
um,
speak Spanish?
sí, yo hablo español. ¿Tú hablas
Oh,
español tampoco?
bravo.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm
Okay.
bilingual in Spanish, and I had an opportunity to work for a Spanish radio station out in Redlands, and that
Lovely.
enabled me to go out to Redlands. And then there was an opportunity to come back to LA, and it seemed as though the job wasn't there. So I had 23 interviews 3 weeks later, and I was ended up in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I learned at that experience that if you end up in a place you don't know anybody, you can do anything you want with the rest of your life. And that was a script that pretty much opened the doors to me. So I was there about 8 months, and the station sold. And so it was one of those situations. I was back on the road again, and found out that I left at the right time because the economy turned. The guy got a divorce, and marriages and radio stations have the same frequency. They are very frequent and very often. And so once
You,
again, you said it was a road. You wanted the road. And I ended back up in San Diego because there was a new television station that was affiliated with one of the major networks called Univision. And they were
okay.
launching a brand new station without cable penetration. And San Diego has lots of hills and lots of valleys.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
you don't have penetration, you don't have very many people. And so once again, you're into the invincible. How am I going to do this? I found a way. I was there for about a year, and then I moved up to LA, and I
Wow.
decided I moved
That's
back
quite
to
a journey, huh? From one
it's,
one place to the other. Amazing. Then what
I
happened
moved.
when you moved back to LA?
Oh, well, that's an interesting story. I thought of all the experiences I had in media, maybe it was time to try something else.
Okay.
So I wanted to become an emergency credential teacher, and I got a job with an elementary school in North Hollywood, and I was really excited to have this opportunity. And what ended up happening was something happened with one of the kids, and I
Oh.
was taken out of the classroom
Hmm.
for something that didn't actually happen. And I did a letter writing campaign. And when I got to the district office downtown, the guy looked at the letters and he said, "This couldn't possibly be you. We'll go ahead and clear you." And he signed my name. So I was off, and I said to myself, someday I'll be back. And the story has a purpose because it goes in a circle. So after that experience of working with kids, I said, well, I'll go to the college arena where if you want to get up and go to the bathroom, just get up and go. You don't have to ask. And, you know, you've got more control over those people.
I
So I was at the colleges for about 20 years.
Wow,
And
that's a long time.
I got an award for a political award for getting these ballot initiatives, and that was really exciting. And in my last year there, I got an award as the best teacher. After 20 years, they
Oh,
finally
wow.
recognized me. I had students who
Amazing.
went on to be TED speakers, and it was incredible. And at the end of the year that I got that award, I didn't get an assignment on the next semester. And so what did I do? I remember that vision that I had of working with those kids. And so now I'm back working with those young kids as a substitute teacher, and it's an amazing experience. And that opportunity as being an emergency credential teacher has, and the school situation turned me into a painter, an impressionist painter. I've got a YouTube channel that I start when I get some
Oh,
time, but
yeah,
there's
I've
some.
seen some of your amazing paintings, especially when you had to wait during transit when your flight got delayed. I remember. I remember that wonderful painting that you drew. Wow.
No, it was an incredible thing. And then from that experience, I've had the opportunity to do some hosting of some shows, which led into some modeling. So there's some pictures that people have admired, great leaps and bounds. And my TV show had its life. It was great, and I just got an opportunity that's coming up that I'm really excited to say. I'm going to be on a special on iHeartRadio for 8 Mondays on a show with Raven
Wow.
Blair. And she's a lady who I attended her workshop many years ago, many, many years ago. And she and I had gotten together and she said, I'm having the show and I'd like for you to be one of my co-hosts. And so, as they say, as one door closes, another door opens.
Another
I
one
was in a
opens.
meeting
Yep.
in Orange County. I met an incredible lady with her name's Maria Teresa Villarreal, and she has a cosmetology school and she wants to do some work with me on the other program I work on skincare. So many people have noticed my face looks a lot different.
Yeah,
And I use
I
this
was
product
going to
called,
say that to you. When I last saw you, you were different.
well, I've
You're
begun,
looking absolute. Your hair have changed. Everything has changed. Um,
well, I
there's a
say
lot of
it's,
difference.
like I say, it's the new me. I began using this product called Enceladerm or Remon. They have it and you can get it in the UK and I'll tell you about it after the call. Um, it's just wonderful thing that makes your face just glow. And that's
Yeah,
that's that's the
I can
change.
see
And
that, Prof. I can see that.
yep, yep, yep. So that is I think that's the roundabout short story. I hope I didn't leave out too many facts, but you can see there's ups and downs and arounds
There's
and
lots
if
of
it
them. Yep,
goes.
yep, yep. There's a lot of zigzag. There's a lot of turns and twists, the ups and the downs, the valleys and the hills. But yeah, out of all these various hats that you donned, which one proved to be the most challenging, yet at the end of the day, the best experience ever possible till now?
Well, I think it was the experience. There's a video, and I don't think it got shared, but I was watching it the other day, and I was talking about this one experience I had as a substitute teacher at the
Okay,
school called this the Citizens of the World. And
okay.
it's this really innovative program where kids in that school, one day they were learning about the brain in their
Mm.
pre-K class. I went to art class with one of the kids, and they were learning about Van Gogh paintings and different things like that. And the holidays came around, and they had gifts for everyone, and I was included in the gift list. And I thought, wow, never in my teaching did they give me something for the holidays. And it didn't matter what it was, but as a person who thrives on learning and education and um, it's amazing. There was this one kid that I worked with and I'd go back to see him and it's, oh my God, it's my friend so and so. And they said, with other he has the the thing that young kids have a lot, where they're always moving. You know what I'm talking about. The word
Yep, yep,
escapes me right now.
yep.
Um, and the teacher had said, God, you do really well with them because most of the people, he plays this game and he runs away and he doesn't run from you. So you've got some knack and you've got some skill. And so it's pretty exciting, It gives me the opportunity to continue to teach and be with young kids, and it's a point along the path. There's some other amazing things happening. Someone asked me, to do some television stuff, so I just did a call for that, and it's just one never knows what's around the next curve.
I think that's what makes life so beautiful, when you don't know what's coming, but yet you're prepared for it. And wonderful presence of mind and that grit that you have about you, to say that, yeah, so this is a new adventure for me. Let me give it a shot. And you go ahead and give it a shot, not bothering about the fact that, there could be those pits, there could be those stumbles, and there could be those falls, but yet you go ahead and you make the most beautiful time out of them, wonderful memories out of them, which you have done. And I think absolutely amazing, especially this little anecdote that you shared about that little kid, who enjoyed your classes. It means that there was something that you probably interacted with him in a way that he enjoyed whatever you were teaching. I mean, or maybe you made the process very creative. and he didn't feel it was the usual, the usual boring stuff, and he enjoyed himself. So he never wanted to run away from class. I think that is what makes a person so unique. And you're sharing that, despite so many wonderful roles you've done, you loved nurturing and you still love nurturing the young ones. And I think that's beautiful, because that's a legacy that where you're when you're educating the young minds, and when you're ensuring that you're making them become good humanitarians, good global citizens. I think one couldn't do better than that. That's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. So that comes to me asking you that, now if you were made a global ambassador of peace, where you had to have this huge campaign, you know and you would have to involve these young children with you, what kind of a campaign would you actually have with them? And what would be, I mean, probably you'll think of something quickly. So the first thing that will come to your mind, okay, I'm going to have this campaign and we're going to ensure that globally this happens, or globally this creates or stirs a revolution of sorts, because I know you're a catalyst for change as well. And you have brought in a lot of transformation in whatever you've done in life. So what would be this campaign that you would want to lead, and you would want to help the young ones also join you?
I think it would be a lifelong learner, that you got to learn through everything, and one that embodies all the different fields of possibilities.
Hmm.
You don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to be a mathematician, you don't have to be a doctor. There are people who are truck drivers, that gives everyone a place, and lessen the competition that we have in the world, have more of um, a way that people can work together with one another, without the antidotes of you can't do this and you can't do that and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, you're
And
so right.
that would be the one thing that I would think of to make happen.
Wow, wonderful. And supposing if I just ask you to give me small definitions for the following: success, what would you say?
Success is an accomplishment that you never know until you got to the top, that you've done the best, and there's no person that you're competing with except for yourself.
Okay. What about happiness?
Um, happiness is something that comes from inside. It doesn't need to be an achievement or accomplishment. It could be a rose, a flower, a dog, a smile, or just an experience that you just go, "Oh, wow, that was amazing," and you know immediately there where you're at.
Okay. What about friendships?
Friendship, those are the things that keep life special. You always know there are people that you can reach out to, people that you can talk to, people that you connect with, and life is a changing Rolodex of people who come in and go.
Okay. Um, what about love?
Love is a special thing that we can love a certain food, we can love our animals, we can love a human being, and it's taken them the good, the bad, and in between, and everything that's all that puts them together. It's you love them for the person that they are, the goods, the bads, and the uglies.
Yeah. Accepting them for their imperfections. Right. Wonderful.
Right.
That's exactly the way it should be, actually. Now, just a little bit about the things that you do, the little things that you do, which actually are things that we do for ourselves. For example, if you have to read something, a book that you can read at any moment, any time, any place, a run to book, a book that you would just seek solace with and you can connect with easily. Which book is that?
Wow. You know, it's so hard to say, but the one book that comes to my mind that I talk about a lot is Tuesdays with Maury. It's a book about a teacher and a student, and it's rekindling those lessons that we get from the world of teaching, and it teaches so many valuable things that we can apply to our life, of what we see as important, what we see as not important, and the evolution of aging, and what that aging is really all about.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Um, a quote that you live your life by.
Well, there's a coach I had many years ago that I met in a program called Frontier Training. Uh, his name is Daniel Tyler Pomke. He's in heaven now. But I remember the day that I was going to some political event and I was outside talking on the phone and I said, Daniel, I'm stuck. I'm tired. I don't know what I want to do and I need your help. And so we embarked on this coaching program and he took me up to this hill and we walked and he brought some food along and this, that, and the other. And he said, I don't have the answers. You can be anything you want to be. You have all the tools that you need to succeed.
Succeed. Hmm.
And said, so what's the one thing you want in the world? And it won't surprise you. It's peace.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
said, that
And
is,
peace begins with a smile.
it's just that one thing. And, there are several times in my life he helped me out on a TED talk that I'd gone ahead and given. And he'd
Hmm.
encouraged me. He gave me this toolkit that I'd use with people in coaching, and it really helped them get to the right things. And um, people may be gone, but you feel that they're with you, and
Yeah, I
that
can
that
feel
that
that.
just
Your
you
voice
know.
is telling me how emotional you got when you're talking about him. But yes, God bless his soul. And I think he was a major positive influence on your life. Just as you're influencing people now, he was one for you. So that's wonderful. God bless his soul. Um, but now coming to a little lighter stuff, because this went a little profound. If you have to have a comfort food, sometimes, we have had a bad day and we would like to, just nibble on something which really relaxes us. So what is your comfort food?
Well, I recently had a test for my cholesterol, so we'll go my past comfort food to my current comfort food.
Okay. But
So
what's a, but what was the past one? Was it ice cream or chocolates?
mm,
Brownies?
I liked this thing that's called creme brulee, a French
Okay.
dessert,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
it was very, very good. And
Uh-huh.
now I go for nuts. I remember there
Okay.
was this diet for almonds, and so almonds are very healthy for you. And I
Yep.
have some walnuts and I have some filberts because nuts are good for you.
Okay. I love the grit and I love the wit which she's telling us about her comfort food. Well, that's Professor Rosalind for you. That's the way she is. All right. Okay. A song that puts you in a good mood and then you just feel like swaying and you forget about all the worries and you're happy and you're at peace with yourself. What is that song?
It's going to be funny. There's two. If you're
Okay.
happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and your face will really show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. All right, that's a good one. And the second one I got married was Lady in Red.
Oh, Lady
I
in Red.
love the Lady
Wow.
in Red. And
Hmm.
the funny thing about the if you're happy and you
Were
know it,
you
I have
wearing red at the time when your man first saw you? Were you wearing red?
mm, I don't recall, but he knew that red was my favorite color. Um,
Okay.
and it's interesting with that song, if you're happy, you know it. I have a sister who's got some situations and she's not totally there, multiple sclerosis and other things. And I was sitting there talking to her, and they say that when someone goes down that path, you take them back to their childhood. And so I said, hey, we're going to do this song together. We're going to do If You're Happy and You Know It. And certainly she could clap her hands, she could touch her head, she could touch her shoulders and do all these things. And it was amazing. And it made me very happy that even in that state, you go back to the interesting things that we do as, working with those young kids, and you could make it happen for her and bring that spirit alive.
Hmm. That's lovely. Wow. Kudos. Okay, so let's talk about a memory that you hold very close to your heart.
Well, I think it would be the time I gave my first TED talk.
Okay.
Um, you
What were the
know,
feelings that you were going through? Were there palpitations? Were your legs feeling like jelly? Was there a rumble tumble in your tummy?
no, it was just a feeling of, wow, I did it. I made it happen. I had coached almost a dozen people to get to them on the TED stage. And once again, I put my foot down and I say, I'm going to be on the TED stage, enough of coaching these other people. And so I went to a uh, a meeting and I got a tape and I was talking about my students in the classroom, and that was my first speech. And it's one where I think actually one of my students had come, my husband had come, a friend had come, and there was a small band of people there. And I had done that speech, written it 37 times, wrote it 40 times, just, everything. And there are so many hurdles in that one of I was going to give my speech and I was driving down the street going to Santa Monica College, and the guy who's the curator for the event calls me and he says, you've got it all wrong. We're going to have to redo this. And I'm like, oh my God. And I turned around my car and he says, but go to the college and get the feedback. And I went to the college and I got the feedback and I got the feedback. And once I got home, I got up and I went to um, this place near my house where there are senior citizens who've got issues, and normally they don't sit still, and they just absolutely love that speech. And that was, just from the turnaround and the adrenaline of going and doing it and practicing there. And I practiced it a million times. And while I'm, in the green room in the restroom before we go, I'm practicing in my head. And it was just up there being there. It's got several, I don't know, I think million people who've gone ahead and viewed it, and everybody looks at it and goes, oh my God, that's wonderful. But it was getting up on stage. And when the curator came to me and he looked at me and he did it. Like, you nailed it. It was like, wow, that was an amazing feeling.
Wow, that surely is an amazing one. But you also do a lot of television. You're doing a show currently. So
Well, I had
what?
a show called Living Your Best Life, and it was
Yeah.
about interviewing people who were overcoming obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting story that was a very snippet. I went
Mm-hmm.
to this recording studio, and there was a gentleman who'd written a song for 9/11, and
Okay.
he just began playing the song, and I was moving back and forth, and it got several million, 2K who listened to that piece, and it was just so short. Um, that was amazing. I was also at this other musician's house, and he had these metal drums that were very different, and I was able to play Happy Birthday or something on it. And there's this one video, it doesn't have very many likes, but I was sitting there pounding on the drums and playing that music, and that was cool. Um, I had an opportunity to interview a gentleman who was a ambassador in Egypt,
Okay.
and that was quite a story. Everything is a story.
I think life is a story, it's up to us on how we, make the most of it. Like you have made the most of it. I think you've just grabbed every opportunity that came your way, made the most of it, learned from it, and started moving ahead. And that's the way. You never really thought back and, sat and said, oh my God, this was a huge setback. Nothing like that. You just pushed yourself to move forward. And I think that is a brilliant, fact that you're sharing with everyone. I'm sure, when people will hear this, they'll get inspired, because generally what happens is that, whenever there's a setback, people just start, though we all do that, but we just do it and we just forget about it, and then we start our next plan of action. We just move. We just don't think about it. We just keep on grabbing opportunities and keep on moving forward. But some people just sit down twiddling their thumb, doing nothing, wondering, why is this happening to me, wallowing in self-pity, crying, seeking for validation from here and there, everywhere, but yet doing nothing about their life. But you made things happen. Despite whatever happened, you still, one chapter ended, one door closed, another opened, that door closed, another opened. So I think you just grabbed it, and that is the gritty part of you. And of course, the way you handle things with your smile and your communication in a very, very witty way, I think that also nailed it. Brilliant, absolutely. One question. Now, supposing there are two super strengths I'm talking about. One would be that you could fly like Superman, up in the sky, like Superman. And the other one would be the ability to become invisible. if there was a genie who came and said, okay, Rosalind, you have a choice. You can be like Superman, fly, or you could, become invisible and find out what people were up to, or even, listen to what people were saying about everyone all over the world. What would you choose and why?
Well, they both sound appealing, but I'm going to go for the flying because I like helping other people and being able to not just watch, but to be able to do something with what you see and what you can do. And the other is, it'd be nice. It's like, part of me, I'd like to know what other people think inside their head, and there are classes that you can take to become more intuitive and things like that. But flying on your own is not something you can do unless you're flying a plane. But
Okay, that's wonderful. That's amazing. Amazing. Absolutely. Well, it was quite an amazing chat with you. But before we go, two things. The first one is, what is that side of you that people don't know?
well, I think there's many things that people don't know, and that is the evolution of change. Just as much as I'm a speaker and a coach, I'm also highly creative. I have a creative bit about me. If you go and see the posts that I put on the stories, it's like every day there's a more beautiful sunset. And I post it as a story and like, what's Rosalind doing? She's out for a walk and she's admiring the sun. I'm on the freeway and I see this beautiful structure of the freeways intersecting, and I got to take a picture of it. It just calls to me, and there's that side of me, and we all have our faults and our hardships, but you need to see the whole person for what the whole person is, and life changes. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago.
Absolutely. And have you imagined how you would be 5 years from now? Is there a mission, or you're going to take life as it comes?
Mm, there's a mission to become a better person each and every day, to be able to realize the dreams and realizations that I have. There's a part of me that I love art, but I can't do it all the time because you gotta make some money. And yet there are people say I'm extremely extraordinarily talented, and and um it's but I'm definitely a person who likes being around people. I'm a connector, and keep in touch. As I always say, don't become a stranger.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. I think that's what makes the world so beautiful, when you're connecting with one another, when you're understanding, when you see how you gel with them, despite the fact that they belong to different countries, perhaps, or they have their own diversity. There's something different, but yet at the same time there is a connect factor. I think that is what makes life beautiful. And that also talks a lot about your adaptability towards the global community in general. And I think that again is wonderful because you have broad perspectives. You don't narrow down to, a little, you haven't set a kind of a boundary for that. You go beyond that when it comes to making friends, connecting with people, humanitarianism. When you talk about peace, I think it's also lovely. But before we go, it was super super lovely chatting with you, knowing about you, the real Rosalind. Absolutely amazing. But I would like you to just inspire the world and everyone who's watching or who'll watch the live later on about how to live life wittily and grittily and tenaciously. Professor Rosalind Style. So imagine you're in a classroom, and or maybe you have to give a TEDx talk about it. So just talk to us before we say bye-bye.
I think the important thing to realize in life is, there are many accolades that I went ahead and discussed, but there was also those rocks and tumbles on the road. I was listening to something on the Great Discovery, and there was a gentleman who said that wherever you are where you're supposed to be. Whatever goes and happens to you are the things that are supposed to happen. You may want to be a TEDx speaker, you want to be a millionaire, and so on and so forth. There's places for millionaires, there's places for people who make different values of money, and so on and so forth. And you're not valued by the money that you make, by the person you are. I mean, Steve Jobs said it in his talk at Stanford. It's connecting the dots, realigning them to figure out the path that you want to go ahead, be. Don't compare yourself to one another. You're great, the person that you are. And always begin every day with gratitude, because gratitude is what keeps you alive and keeps you going, and all those things that you see in life.
Lovely. I think gratitude said it all, and gratitude is really something that we're also grateful for. I think grateful to you for sharing all this with us. Grateful to everyone who joined us on the live. Grateful to everyone who will join us probably later on and watch the live and drop in their comments and tell us from which part of the world they joined us from and what you felt about what Professor Rosalind shared with us just now today and what really inspired you and motivated you. I think that is amazing because there were lots of takeaways from Professor Rosalind's, this little chat that we had with her. And I would just say that keep shining, keep inspiring, keep this beautiful facet of yourself. I mean, you're multi-dimensional facet, you're a multi-dimensional personality. So you're not only a good speaker, but you're also a creative person. You're also an innovator. You're also a connector. I think you have all these qualities. Like, you told me that a friend of yours said that you have all the tools for success, and I think he was absolutely bang on right because you actually have them all. And I'll just keep on hoping and praying, and all of us would, that you keep shining, keep sparkling, keep scintillating, and keep inspiring people to make this beautiful life a wonderful place to be in. Stay unstoppable, stay unique, stay unbeatable, stay timeless, stay tenacious, and life is beautiful, as Professor Rosalind Kant said. And when one door closes, that's the most important thing. Don't think it's the end of the world. Heavens won't fall. Another one is opening. Only thing is, you've got to have the eyes to see it and the ears to hear what that opportunity is that's coming your way. So, once again, Professor, thank you so much. Absolutely amazing, absolutely adorable, absolutely wonderful. Hope to see you again, hope to connect again, and hope to meet you soon again. It seems
Well, thank
almost
you
a
so much.
year.
Thank you so much. I just want to add one thing. If people want to follow me, they can follow me on all social media. I have a webpage. It's Rosalind Kahn, Rosalyn. Last name is Kahn. And if there's something that I said that influenced you, you might be able to get a free 10-minute coaching to find out how I can help you in some aspect of your life. If you just mention the show, we can make that happen. Send me a message from my webpage. There you have it.
Bravo. There you got it, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that, once again, many, many thanks to Professor. Thank you for joining us on the Wit and the Grit show. Thank you, everyone, for being a lovely audience. And yes, stay happy, stay blessed, stay blissful, stay bountiful. Hasta mañana till we meet again super soon. Till then, take good care of yourselves. Bye bye. God bless you. God bless you,
Bye.
Professor. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.